When I look at my life over the past decade of generating tens of millions of dollars in my 20s alone, there was one prominent pattern that stood out in my success: systems. Now, back in 2018, Sam Ovens dropped an absolute goldmine on YouTube, which inspired not only myself, but dozens of entrepreneurs to improve all areas of their lives. And today, I will be teaching you everything, mastering each element of your life to a 10 out of 10 through systemization, because I truly did it. And after investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into myself, these are the biggest lessons that I have learned. So without any further ado, let's get started. Everything is a system. The first thing you need to recognize is that life is just systems. Everything in this universe is a system. And here is exactly what I mean. On the grand spectrum of things, you have solar systems out there in space. Then on the most micro of microsystems, you have molecular systems like molecules that behave with different rules. And in nature, we have ecosystems like the sea. The ocean has ecosystems. It has different things and different participants that all behave together to make it balance and run. Humans also have social systems. Money is a system. We've got rules and laws. Employment is a system. And within different companies, there's systems like benefit systems, hierarchy systems, technological systems. All the world it's a bunch of systems. And once you get really good at understanding systems, you can understand everything. And the point I'm getting to, which you'll see in a moment, is that your business, when done properly, should also act like a system. When you get to problem solving and troubleshooting issues, you need to operate a system to find the root cause. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do that by looking at things like a critical thinker and an analyst, exactly like an engineer inside of your own business. So let's now talk about systems thinking. So what is a system? A system, very simply put, is a collection of interacting units that mutually influence each other, forming a cohesive whole. Now, what is systems theory? Well, systems theory models organizations by focusing on their structure and interdependence, mapping out the relationship among different parts, especially just mapping everything out so it just makes sense. It looks at all of the components and how they interact with each other and how that affects the whole. A systems thinker sees the whole instead of just the parts, whereas a non-systems thinker just sees each individual part and not how all the dots connect. A prime example of this is many employees within a company. They only understand their little area of expertise. They don't understand how that interconnects with other things. Accountants are notorious for this. Accountants just look at the P&L and balance sheet and they think that, oh, this might be a waste of money, that's a waste, but they don't understand how that cost over here influences customer satisfaction, which then leads to the customers referring their friends, which leads to more money coming in at a lower marketing cost, you see? And when it comes to running your business like an absolute expert, you need to be a systems thinker. Most people create a business which just does something for a certain group of people and that's it. And many businesses lack standardized processes, resulting in a chaotic mix of implemented elements that often fail to work cohesively together. No marketing systems, no sales system, no operational system, no financial system. It's all just a big mess, and things were implemented just because, with no standardization or routinization or nothing, just a bunch of stuff. So let's look at a general online business. Most businesses, when it comes down to it, they try and help someone with one thing, but that one thing is connected to everything else. For example, in order to create good ads, you need to have a good funnel that converts. In order to have a funnel that converts, you need to have a niche, and you need to solve a problem for that niche. And you need to have a message that actually resonates with that niche. And unless you have that, then you don't even know who to target. Systems thinkers create holistic businesses that include all components necessary for success. They don't isolate one piece like Facebook ads and expect it to make their business grow without considering anything else. That's how a systems thinker thinks. If you want to create a great business, you need to start thinking like this. Now, you might be getting overwhelmed and think this is all sounding really hard. Don't worry, that's the purpose of this video. I'm here to simplify it. It's actually extremely simple as long as you look at it in a simple way. So this is all a system is. you've just got 4 parts. Inputs, and that is an action or something that you put into a system. Then you have a process, and then it produces number 3, the output. And these are results or outcomes. And then number 4, from this, you get feedback. And this feedback changes or doesn't change how you adjust your inputs. What is also important is the environment, because if the environment changes, sometimes the system has to change a little bit as well. Now, at this point, it's fairly straightforward. That is the most basic explanation of a system, and this is how it was explained to me when I was at university actually to become an engineer. And when you look at what really happens in the real world, the system doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's affected by its environment, which is represented by the sun on the top of the diagram over here. Consider the goal of being focused, healthy, and fit. To achieve this output, specific inputs are required. These include regular exercise, quality sleep, proper hydration through drinking plenty of water, and maintaining a healthy diet. By consistently incorporating these inputs, the desired output of being focused, healthy, and fit will be attained through that process. Now, in the realm of business, the inputs determine the outputs. Doing nothing yields no results, and engaging in unproductive activities such as random Facebook posting and blogging, it may not lead to significant outcomes. Focusing on activities aligned with direct response principles, like creating targeted ads, for example, ensures that the outputs are more likely to align with desired results. It's very crucial also with systems to be observant of the feedback, because that helps you improve the inputs and get closer to what works best. So quite simply, you look at the feedback and then you use the feedback to adjust the input, right? This is all you're doing. You're just dumbing it down. Inputs, outputs, feedback. Inputs, outputs, feedback. And it just goes on and on and on. And this is the way you iterate and improve anything in life. Whenever I get confused about anything or how to achieve the objective I'm trying to achieve, I just dumb it down and I come back to this. It's all just inputs, outputs, feedback, and of course the process that leads to this all happening. That is it. Extremely simple. Now, of course, there is this thing called the environment, which sometimes comes into play. And this means that sometimes the same input and the same process can actually lead to a different output over time. And this is why you sometimes need to be changing things. So even once you get a system perfect, if the environment changes, that means everything else has to slightly change a bit. Even once you get a system perfect, because the environment can come in and change what happens in the space between the process and the output. Essentially, it keeps you on your toes. So the system, it's kind of like a living, breathing organism where you always need to change it up a little bit. There's almost no systems in this world where you just get it correct once and it's perfect forever. There's always that environment having an impact. So, becoming a systems thinker. How do you do that? That's really the purpose of this video. Here's some different things that system thinkers understand. The first one is that the system is greater than the sum of its parts. A lot of people, really most people, they just see parts as parts and they don't understand how they interconnect and come together to form something big. And what's interesting about systems is that when the parts come together, the system is greater than the sum of its parts. Now let me give you a perfect example. Let's say a team has 5 people in it and those 5 people each have a certain amount of skill. But if those 5 people team together, the team will probably have a greater performance than if the 5 individuals were, individual, right? So you start to see this cool stuff happen. And a good business is just a good system. It's when all the parts come together to form a whole. The whole is more important than the parts. A lot of people, when they create online businesses, they think the part is the most important. This is wrong. For example, Facebook ads. Someone might just obsess about Facebook ads and they go into all of these details and tangents that don't matter, and it's just like a wild goose chase on Facebook ads and how awesome Facebook is, but they forget that the main thing is their product, and it doesn't matter how good your Facebook ads are if your product is just a piece of poo, right? Now, a systems thinker, they always come back and think about the whole. Is this product something that the customer genuinely wants to buy? Is this getting my customer from their current situation to their desired situation? The whole is more important than the parts. A system thinker also understands that everything is interconnected. That is how you need to think to become a successful business owner. Now, the biggest thing to take away from all of this is let's say you have a system in your business of your ads, and then your landing page, and then your checkout page. You understand how the ads feed into the mindset of the customer on the landing page, and then the checkout page. And if, say, someone comes in without understanding your ads and says, oh, make this change and change that on your landing page, and this doesn't make sense, blah, blah, blah. It's like they just don't understand the frame of mind of people because they haven't seen the ad. So what I'm really trying to say here is don't change a subsystem, for example, your landing page, without understanding the impact that it has on the whole system. Because with a system like this, for example, the ad is part number one, if we simplify it, the checkout is the end part, and the landing page is the middle part. So why on earth would you change the middle part without understanding the parts before, right? So an average person or a novice, they'll just change the subsystem. They won't think about the whole system. A professional, on the other hand, a true professional operator, will look at the subsystem, change it, keeping in mind its effect on the whole system, both going in the backwards direction and in the forwards direction. This is crucial, and all amateurs make this huge mistake. A systems thinker also understands that cause and effect relationships are not linear, but they are circular. A lot of people think that things just go in a straight line, like it's cause effect, cause effect, cause effect, but they don't understand how those feedback loops work that we talked about at the start of this video. They have a different cause effect relationship. Now let me give you an example. Picking your niche, crafting your offer, and then going out and doing organic. When you're doing that, you're collecting feedback. Now that's got a circular relationship there, because as you collect feedback, you need to iterate your niche and your offer until you get it good. It's going around in this circle, right? Instead of just a straight line through to the next step. Each step has feedback, each step has iteration, each step has a cause-effect relationship. And this means you need to view them as feedback loops. Now, the more systemized your system is, the more effective it is. And what I mean by this is that the more systemized your business and product and marketing, the better results it will get for your customers and the more customers you will receive. And what a good system thinker can also do is they can see the detail on the micro level, but they can also zoom out and see how this affects the greater whole and how everything is important. Now, let me give you another perfect example because this might seem a little bit abstract. There is a lot of Facebook ad trainings out there that say you should never spend any more than $2 a lead or $5 a lead or whatever stupid number they throw out. And it just makes no sense because it is not about the cost per lead. Who cares? That is irrelevant. We are not just using Facebook to get leads. That's dumb. What we're really trying to do is get customers. So really what we're looking at, well, who cares about cost per lead? We're just trying to get customers at a profitable price. So I've always said, if I was selling something for $2,000, I would happily spend $500 per lead if 100% of leads purchased, right? This would be a 4x return. And it's not about cost per lead, it's actually cost per acquisition. It's about the return on ad spend. It's about the overall business and objective, not just the cost per click. Now, let's talk about the nature of your system. So another aspect of understanding systems in business is to understand the macro and the micro dimensions. To create an awesome business, you need to see the big picture and the details. That's a real skill, and it's a very good skill that you need to develop as an entrepreneur. So there's two sides of the equation. Some who look too much on the big picture and others who work too much on the tiny little micro details. You need to understand and do both. So once again, let me give you an example. On the big picture, you've got some random influencers on Instagram who get you motivated, but what on earth do you actually do? Nobody knows. Then on the other side of the spectrum, you might go on Udemy and find some nerd that created a $10 program to show you how to code and how to create all this fancy web stuff, but you don't really need to understand that nerd stuff to such a high degree. Why do you even need that? The secret behind what you really want to do is understand the micro, understand the macro, connect these dots between the two dimensions. In essence, understand everything from end to end. If looking at a marketing funnel, look at the start of the click of an ad all the way to the customer purchase. It needs to be one congruent system. There are big systems and there's also subsystems. Understand that your business will operate as an overall system. And another good way to think about it is that you're going to get good at tracing things upstream and downstream. With systems, everything is interconnected. I've said it 1,000 times. If someone's Facebook ads are doing really bad, they're bombing. Instead of just looking at the Facebook ads, we might go in and say, well, what's your niche? What's your offer? What's your product? What problem are you solving, right? We trace it upstream instead of just looking at the ads itself. We can also go downstream. Say you've got a good niche, a good offer, and a good everything and good ads, but maybe your checkout page is screwed up, right? So you need to trace things backwards and forwards. Our job is to trace things up and down to find the key components necessary for success. A great way to figure out what is going on is to literally draw diagrams like a child, right? To see exactly what's happening. It might sound strange, but just draw diagrams, understand what's happening, and draw flow charts with arrows to see exactly what's happening and why you're doing what you're meant to be doing. Start thinking like this in your brain, and you will be a great systems thinker, and it will be so easy to actually implement everything. So think about Amazon. Do you think they could have the biggest and fastest shipping network in the entire world if there were no systems, no standardization, no routines? Of course not. I guarantee you that the people in charge of developing Amazon, their business system, you guessed it, they had extremely good systems thinking. Systems thinking isn't just for nerds that want to do coding, it's really for people that want to run a successful business. Let's get on to the second half of this video and discuss some practical applications that you can start doing today. Routines for systemized excellence. So, why do we need routines? Well, it helps us run our businesses a lot better. And really, in some ways, the way we run our business is a reflection of our personal lives, and the way we run our personal lives is a reflection of our business. We want to work on our routines so that things can happen consistently. A routine is a sequence of actions regularly followed or a fixed program. And a routine, you guessed it, is just a system. So, if you were to get an average person with the best routine, chances are they will absolutely destroy the smarter person without a routine every single time. Now, I can imagine some of you are probably thinking, oh, but Michael, I want to be free. I want to have fun. I want to live my life. Well, let me tell you about the freedom myth. And most people believe having a rigid daily routine isn't living, and they prefer to have freedom to do what they want when they want. The problem is that achieving goals requires planning, execution, and discipline and impulse control. So here's a unique outlook, but I think I'm correct here. Achieving goals is what actually makes us happy. So achieving goals makes us free. If we want to make more money so we can do more things and live better and be happy that we've achieved something that requires achieving the goal, when talking about money, when you have lots of it, which will happen when you have a good business, by the way, this provides you with freedom. So to do that, we need a plan. And then once we've got a plan, we need to execute the plan. And to execute the plan, we need to be disciplined. And you can guarantee that you're going to have little impulses and things pop up. There's going to be distractions. The people who do what they want when they want, they do this at the cost of their goals. So they think that they're free, but really they're not. They're free in that moment, but they're prisoners for life. Because if you can't control yourself, then really, are you even free? Freedom is actually when you have self-control and you tell yourself, hey, I want this goal, so I'm going to do this work, and no, I'm not going to get distracted. I know my mind's going to play little tricks on me, and I think I should be free and this and that, and I think I should have fun right now, but I know I need to achieve this goal. If we want a business producing, say, for example, well in excess of $1 million per year, we need to plan, and then we need to take daily action. Impulses will tempt us, and we might not feel like it, and friends will probably want to hang out, but achieving our goal is ultimate freedom. Freedom comes from constraints. Freedom comes from self-discipline and controlling your impulses. Routines create talent and confidence. So, if you make a decision to do something and you actually commit to taking action towards it daily for however long it takes to complete it, you affirm not only your choice to begin, but your ability to do it. And this creates talent and skill and supreme self-confidence to tackle bigger and greater things. If someone says, for example, I want to go to the gym 5 times a week, and they really mean it, and then they try to go to the gym and they don't, and they keep going along like this and they never can, what do you think their personal self-confidence is going to be? This person just does not trust a word they say because they know that they're just a liar. If they think, oh, I'm going to achieve this goal, but they know that they can't, they're kidding themselves. And this is why routines really shape people. They not only make you wildly talented and skilled, but they give you supreme self-confidence. It should be fairly evident now that you need a routine in your personal life and in your business life as well. Everyone will be different. I don't have one routine which works for everyone. Some people wake up at 4 a.m. and go to bed at 9 p.m. Others prefer to wake up at 9 a.m. and go to bed at 1 a.m. Some people work better in the morning, some work better at night. You get the point. So how do you create your routine? That's what we're going to be talking about right now. And also, eventually you can alter and not necessarily make this as regimented as you started off. But when you're getting started, if you just find you're not getting anything done and your life is full of chaos, doing an exercise like this could help you tremendously improve your life. So step number 1, you want to start by pulling up your calendar and looking at the week from a bird's eye view. You want to be looking at the week view first, and then what you want to do is you want to plot your sleep. At the same time, every single day, it should be realistic and give you at least 7 hours sleep a night. Some might disagree, but keep this in mind. You will get more work done in 4 hours on 8 hours of sleep than 8 hours of work from 4 hours sleep. And chances are your work will be higher quality on more sleep anyway. And this is so true. Everyone has 24 hours in the day, and if billionaires can get so much done in the same 24 hours, you can too. It's just a matter of prioritizing. Don't believe that you only need that 4 hours of sleep a night. That's all total BS. I've tried it and the brain just cannot sustain this for long at all. So you can see here that sleep is the first thing to plot. You want to do that first because you want to plot in these things which have to happen. So what's something else that has to happen? Exercise. Set your exercise time and try and make it around the same every day. Make it standard, a routine, a habit. We don't have to look at our schedule and think, oh, when am I meant to go to bed? We know, for example, it's always 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or midnight. When do I wake up? We always know the time. When's gym? We always know the time, right? So, and even say, for example, during exercise, you need to have that systemized. For example, for me, Monday is chest and shoulders, Tuesday is back and biceps, Wednesday is legs, and it repeats like this perpetually. I don't train necessarily every single day, but you get the point, right? And then you want to plot other things like getting ready and eating. You might think, oh, do I really need to plot this in my calendar? Yes, you do. Because you need to see the things that you have to do. Everyone should be working out, and if you're not working out, then you're really hurting yourself. You get the point. So you need to plot the non-negotiables first to see how much time you have left and when you have it left. So now you can see that once you've plotted all of this stuff, you can see what time is left over for work. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything. It's just ready. And this all just runs automatically. And then daily actions. So set time for your essential daily actions for your business. Things like daily marketing, ads, etc. You want to block out all the time you have to commit to things so that you can see what's left. And it's really important to do this because most people just consider time as this infinite thing where they can do whatever they want with it. In reality, it is very limited and finite, and you have to really plan it and be ruthless with it. If you don't keep your eye on time, it will literally run away from you. So the remaining time that you have left is for completing important projects that support your goals. These are all the things that you have to do to just keep things going efficiently and happy. And the spare time is where you get to make big moves to grow your business. Most people, this is terrible. Most people, their weeks are just so full with errands and chaos and all this stupid crap that there's no space left to actually work on the business. So I'm not going to sit here and plot your calendar for you, of course not. But everyone's activities are different. You get the point. This is just basic calendar systemization. Something which absolutely destroys what I like to call average people is something known as life maintenance tasks. This stuff will suck your blood dry and lead you to take absolutely no action. Life maintenance tasks are things that are just required to be done, to essence, to just live, right? And a lot, and I mean a lot of people waste a lot of their time doing these basic tasks that really don't need this much attention. This is why people end up saying, oh, I don't have time. Yes, you do have time. Most people just do not know how to prioritize. So what do I mean by life maintenance? Things like cooking, cleaning, etc. You need to watch out for these things. They can suck your time dry. So average people just do stuff. If you want to be a successful business owner, you must be considerably better than average. Be on the right-hand side of the bell curve, not with the masses. The masses are living paycheck to paycheck, spending most of their life on life maintenance. Don't be like the herd. You will get nowhere like that. And it's just small differences that make all the impact. So here's the solution. You just don't need to do them. All you need to do is eat the food, right? Somebody else can do all that other stuff. And what do I mean by this? Well, it depends on your circumstances, but an easy example, you could hire a chef or hire a maid or set up a system that doesn't require a maid, or a system where you don't need to be cooking for 2 hours and cleaning for 2 hours a day. What a waste of time. Imagine if that time was put into building your business. That's just 4 hours times 7 days a week. You've now got an extra 28 hours of extra time from just delegating those life maintenance tasks. This is very important stuff. If you're wasting your time doing this, fix it right now. I'm serious. It's dependent on your personal circumstances, of course, like your family life and how far you want to take this whole optimization thing, but you can figure out how much money it actually costs you to hire a chef or a maid or whatever you need to do to provide you with this free time. And whatever that number is, it won't be difficult at all to make it back from your business, as long as you use your newfound time to actually work on growing your business. And what you want to do is identify value actions. These are actions that directly contribute to your goal. Things like sleep, exercise, innovation, outreach, writing ads, building your funnel, building your product, things like that. You want to do more of these value actions more intensely and more often if, say, for example, you're operating an online business. So that's essentially life maintenance. Now let's dive one layer deeper and talk about types of waste. There are 2 types of waste. Type 1 waste is actions that do not contribute to your goal and are necessary. And these are essentially life maintenance tasks. They don't add value to our goal. Like, it doesn't help us achieve our goal by doing that stuff, but they're necessary, right? So this is what we call type 1 waste. And with type 1 waste, we want to delegate this to someone else, systemize it, routinize it, and standardize it. If you want, remove your decision fatigue, which is something we'll be talking about at the end of this video, and simplify your diet. Like, really, what do you care about? Having a varied palette of gourmet meals that you self-prepared, or building a multi-million-dollar business? Because all that decision capacity that goes into deciding what to eat could be put into your business. You only have a limited amount of brain power. And then there's type 2 waste, which is actions that add no value and are pure waste. Type 2 waste is destructive. This is things like mindless social media, Netflix marathons, binge drinking, binge drug abuse, and you want to totally eliminate these actions from your life as much as really possible. Be relentless and ruthless. If you truly have the desire to grow your business to the next level and make $1 million this year or more, you'll do this. As I mentioned before, it's really up to you how much you want to optimize these things depending on how high you prioritize your business. It's all up to you how much you want to go to the extremes of this. But at the same time, how extreme is your desire to have a successful business? So the easiest way to get rid of type 1 waste is to just hire and delegate it to other people so that it's off your plate but continues to get done, and it is honestly one of the best decisions you can ever make. If you need to pay to get it sorted out, as long as you reinvest the extra time you now have back into your business, this will be a highly profitable activity. So let's say you need to spend an extra $200 a week to delegate, say, cleaning your clothes, cleaning your house, and getting food cooked for you. And this all frees up 20 hours per week. I am sure that you will be able to make that $200 per week back from your business if you've now got 20 hours extra spare. Not only will you make back at least 1 time's return on your investment, honestly, it could be 100, even 1,000 times the return. And I am not kidding. That $200 investment into delegating type 1 waste could genuinely lead to an extra $200,000 per week into your business, because now you've got an extra 20 hours per week to focus. Your mind is clear and you can make sharp, productive decisions. And one of the biggest things I hear is, I just don't have enough time to work on my business. Absolute lie. Where there is a will, there is a way. Some people watching this video here will be single. Some will be married with kids. Some will be working a 9 to 5, living paycheck to paycheck. And others will be already earning $1 million a year and looking to start another business to create even more freedom. Whatever your situation, if you're engaging yourself in type 1 waste, as long as you use this time wisely, delegate it away so you can earn more. So you might be thinking, what do I delegate? Well, here's just some examples that pop into my head. Grocery shopping, cooking, dishes, cleaning the house, cleaning the car, mowing the lawns, gardening, laundry, paying bills, checking and sorting mail, handling mail, pointless stuff, things like that. There's so many more, but this is just what comes to mind, literally. Delegate these things. You don't have to do it. So start with the big tasks. You might think, oh my God, there's so many things to do here. So start with the big ones and just chip away at them. You really have to break it down, chunk it up. Start with the big chunks and then just work your way through them. And before you know it, well, you'll have everything delegated. Delegate this or figure out ways to routinize it or systemize it so that it sucks as little time from your life as possible. This is especially important if you are currently working a 9 to 5, because if you're working a 9 to 5, you will have practically no free time. So you need as much free time as possible to actually dedicate to your business so that it is successful. Now, we're coming to the end of this video, so just a few more points. Let's wrap it all up. Let's talk about standardizing and systemizing and creating protocols of operation. So standardizing is when we identify a best practice for completing a task and we set it as the standard. Now, this might seem a little bit strange, but when you think about it, human civilization is built upon layers and layers and layers of standardization. Let me give you some fun examples. So, time. Time, it is actually a standard. I mean, seriously, what is time? Like, we all know what time is, but someone called it time, and now we've got these units of seconds and minutes and hours and days and months and years. It's all a system of measurement, right? So it is still a system. Remember the topic of this video. It's a standardized system that everyone around the world uses. Like, let's just think about something funny. Imagine trying to meet someone for lunch without time. You'd be like, oh, I'll meet you when the sun is there, like between the tree and when the tree makes this shadow, and in 4 darks from now, and like the tree's halfway between this building and that building. You'd be like, what? Like, when do I meet you again? It would be chaos. No one would know what's going on, and the global standardized system's been created to help efficiency. And that thing I talked about with the tree, like that's what people would have had to actually do before this system called time was invented. Most people don't think about this stuff, but time is an invented concept. And another example is measurements. So people didn't used to have measurements. They just say, oh, it's about this big. And you show them with their hand. And now we got measurements and languages and money and currencies. They're all standardized practices. Without standards, there would be no order and everything would be chaos. And imagine trying to buy food if every shop used its own currency and its own language and its own unique hours of operation. It would be impossible to do anything because it would just be so chaotic, you could never figure out a pattern. And the weeks are another standard, Monday through Friday, then the weekends, and all of this is just standard. It would be impossible without standards. So what can we learn from this by looking through history? Well, standards make us efficient and it allows us to work faster with less chaos. And we've understood that standards help, and without standards, it's chaos. So hopefully this logic that I'm about to put forward makes sense. Therefore, we should try to introduce some standards into our own life, just like how the greater society around us is standardized. You want to standardize your life. You want to identify the things you do every day, week, month, year, and so forth, turn them into a standard, and I'll give you some personal examples from me to help you get started. I have standardized exercise routines. I do a 3-way split called push-pull legs at the gym. And further to that, I even have a digital notepad on my phone, so I record everything. That's even systemized, the weights that I do. If I know I do, say, 80 kilograms for 5 sets of 8 reps on a particular exercise, well, when I do 9 reps, I know it's time to increase my weight, right? And I even measure things like my rest time. So if I don't rest enough, my muscles don't recover. And if I rest too much, my muscles will turn off, right? So I always rest about 3.5 minutes between each set. So you can see how this is really standardized, like what I do, how much weight I do, when I move up the weight, it's all one big standard and system. Another example is standardizing meals. I only have a few different types of meals ready to go for dinner. I eat practically the same thing for lunch every day. This frees up my brain space so much by removing all these decisions, so my mind is free to think about and focus on the more important money-making activities and processes. All of this, it really leads me on to the next point, which is the final point of the video, which is talking about decisions and maximizing your decision half-life. So, decision fatigue. The more choices you make throughout the day, the harder each one becomes for your brain. And eventually your brain looks for shortcuts, such as becoming restless and you don't pay attention. All in all, this means a lower decision quality and also a lower amount of the quantity of decisions that you can make. So let's say you're trying to do something, but you keep getting distracted and you keep pinging over here and then, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this thing and that thing, and you're all over the place, right? This is how most people's brains are, and it's why they're not successful. You know, you probably have decision fatigue, right? Or you zone out. You know, you're just staring at nothing and you're like, oh, well, sorry, what was going on? Or you just do nothing. That's what most people default to. All right, let me go sit on the couch and watch some Netflix. Decision fatigue. And really, this little diagram that's up on the screen right now, it pretty much just sums it all up perfectly. The more decisions you make in a day, the worse of a quality that decision will be. So this is why we try to remove everything. All of these are decisions. And when you add them all up, all of these little things take a huge toll on you. Don't believe me? Well, this is not meant to be a brag. However, my companies together now make well over $30 million per year, and we are just getting started. And I make less decisions now as the owner of a multi-million-dollar business than when I worked a 9-to-5 job on $85,000 per year. I am not kidding, and this is intentional. If someone has to do all of that crap and someone else doesn't, the person who doesn't have to do all of that crap has a huge advantage, and you want to secure the advantage for yourself. So what you want to do is you want to look at your decision half-life, which is the amount of time a decision lasts for before it has to be made again. So let's say I'm hungry and I need food. I could take 1 hour to get food now, and it lasts 6 hours in my stomach before it digests and I get hungry again, and I have to make this decision all over again. And this means the one decision takes 1 hour to make that and execute it, and it has a 6-hour half-life, all right? So one decision, 1 hour process, 6-hour half-life. But there's a time burden and a decision burden. Let's now look at a better alternative instead. You could take just 1 hour to hire a chef, or maybe pre-plan a week or fortnight's worth of meals, and that typical activity that you usually need to do like 3 times a day, you can just do it once in the month and you're good. And Matt, look at all that time you saved, and you've also freed up your brain's decision-making capacity. So most people have to think about what I'm gonna have to eat twice a day, every 6 hours, like every single day for their entire life. Or you can make one decision in 1 hour and fix that problem for life. This is what I'm talking about. This is what you need to do. You need to be mindful of your time and your energy. You need to focus. You need to prevent decision fatigue, and you need to make long half-life decisions. Smart people make long half-life decisions. They make a decision once that will last forever, and that's why they have the capacity to make great decisions for their business and make lots of money to offset whatever minor cost it might take to engage in those more productive decisions. Action items from this video. Moving forward, when doing everything in your business, make sure to use a systems-first approach when doing everything so that you can build it properly with no issues and have maximum efficiency. Today, look at how you can routinize, standardize, and delegate aspects of your life to allow you more time to work more on your business. This is especially important if you're currently time poor working a job and trying to build a business at the same time. Remember, you also need to create your routine in your calendar so that you know what you're doing with all this free time. And finally, go ahead and eliminate type 2 waste and delegate all of the types of type 1 waste that you can think of where possible. So that takes me to the very end of this video, how systems thinking makes you think like a billionaire. Everything in this universe is systems, be it the solar system or the microparticles that are within our body. Humans construct systems in society, and especially for us as business owners, we need to intelligently design systems into our business and start looking at things from a systems point of view. The internet was designed by systems engineers, and most of us watching this video are either running or looking to run an internet business. So we should probably think with systems in mind, right? And remember, the way we act in our personal life will carry on into our business life. So we want to routinize, standardize, and delegate as much as possible personally to allow free time into our business and simplicity, not complexity. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. So within our business, we want to routinize, standardize, and delegate operations within to allow more time to enjoy life and also allow more time for crucial activities. So with that being said, take action on what you've learned today. And most importantly, let me know in the comments section the biggest realization that you have taken from this video. And you know what? Even put in an example from your personal life and I'll make sure to reply to you as well. So subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you back here on my next video.